Hi guys, just getting the comments up here. How's everyone? I thought, why not? Defending Elvis can do an evening live stream. So it's 8:15 in the UK. Hi Jane, Lorna, Deborah. I've messaged a few people, so we might get a few of us on tonight. So let's just give it a chance for a few people to join us. So we've had an interesting day. We've done some good lives today. I keep saying you know what? I've been very I've really thought about what we've done today. Yeah. To concerning the Dave Stanley, Ricky Stanley, a lot of Ricky Stanley today. And we moved on and we listened to Ginger Alden, who I can hear my kid coming. Hello. It's a school night. What are you on about? No.
The teacher just say,
No.
the teacher just come down.
I'm not letting you on your phones on a school night.
The teacher just come down.
Yes, then he went back up.
Did you say comes on the phone?
No. Love you, you're the best. Shut the door behind you. I don't let them on their phones on school nights. So hi, Four Candles. Four Candles, tell me your name, I've got it. Carly, how are you? So guys, I've titled tonight's live stream, Anyone Had a Heart? Anyone who had a heart. There's a few reasons why I've called tonight's live stream, Anyone Who Had a Heart. This could be an emotional live. A few things have happened. Now the Ginger Alden thing. When I started watching Ginger Alden, we compared a few things. Obviously, we know Ginger Alden's book. And, Ginger Alden, she gets a hard time. She gets a lot of jealousy, a lot of backlashing. Yeah. She did make a couple of mistakes early on after Elvis died. But then she did go quiet for 40 years. Ginger Alden went quiet for 40 years. And then at 2014, she brings out her book. And what is one of the first things she does is she disagrees with people. She goes against what the Smiths have said. She goes against what the Stanleys are saying. She goes against this image that Elvis, when he was at the end of his life, was a fat, drugged up, burger-eating pervert. She goes against all of it. She says no. Elvis liked life. Elvis enjoyed life. At the end of his life, she talks about many special memories that she had with Elvis at the end of his life when he was very sick. The problem with the Smiths and the Stanleys and some of the ex-girlfriends is they don't talk about him being sick. They talk about him being a drug addict, abusing prescribed medication, abusing prescription drugs. These are people that loved Elvis. The Smiths, the Stanleys, some girlfriends, some people that work for him, the Memphis Mafia, people that loved Elvis talk about him in the most disgusting way, and they do it again and again and again in documentaries, in videos. Obviously, one videos came out on the news, in the TV magazines, in the tabloids, in movies. The most people that trashed Elvis were his closest companions. Seriously, guys, the most people that trashed Elvis were his closest companions. But when we have Ginger Alden, who goes quiet for nearly 40 years, she goes against the people and disagrees with what the people say. She goes against them. She doesn't care if she's unpopular. She says things like, oh, is it because They weren't in the will. I don't know why these people make up these disgusting stories about Elvis, accuse him of being an out-and-out drug addict, a street addict, when we all know Elvis was completely against. Elvis was against drugs. He took prescribed medication because he was very sick. That's the truth of it. I don't care what anyone says. The more we dig into it, he took prescribed medication because he got sicker and sicker and sicker. He had very, very serious insomnia. Very serious insomnia. Elvis was unwell from a child. It's been proved. So he was sick. Did Elvis take sleeping tablets to sleep? Yeah, he had no choice. Did Elvis, in the 50s and 60s, it wasn't unusual to take uppers and recreational type pills. It was pretty normal for those days. In the rock and roll days, growing up through the 50s and 60s, it wasn't unusual to pop a pill, to go out and have fun. They used uppers when he was on his all-night maneuvers in 1958-9, when he was serving for his country. As Elvis got older, he had a very heavy work schedule, a seriously heavy work schedule. Through the 60s, making 2 or 3 movies a year. So they would have a little bit of help. They'd have a pill to give them energy to make these movies. Elvis couldn't sleep. Elvis could not sleep. So he would take pills, sometimes too many pills, to sleep. And then as Elvis got more unwell, he relied on the pills even more. He relied on his prescription medication. Elvis trusted his doctors. So he would turn to his doctors and they would give him medication. Sometimes too much. Sometimes Elvis abused his medication. But he was never a druggie. It was always turn to my doctor or my nurse, my pharmacist for help, for medication, to soothe his pain, to help him sleep, all the different health problems he had. There was always a good reason for Elvis to want help from his doctors, Dr. Nick, whoever it was. He was never a strung out druggie. Now, so I look at Ginger Alden, and I think she's going against the grain. She's disagreeing with people. We play her interview that was done less than 2 weeks ago. She tells some sweet stories, but she also says she doesn't agree with all the trash. Ginger Alden doesn't agree with the trash the Smiths have said, the Stanleys have said, some ex-girlfriends have said, Priscilla, the ex-wife, says. Ginger Alden doesn't agree with it. She disagrees. Only yesterday I had an Elvis fan telling me that everything Ginger Alden thinks is a pack of lies. This is an Elvis fan. Terry, who wasn't Terry. Terry was a fake Elvis fan. And he joined our channel to say that Elvis was a druggie, overspent, he had out of control spending that almost drove him to death. Now, I'm trying to make a point here, guys. I'm trying to make a point. Then I'm going to play you a song in a second. This is a remix version of Cilla Black's song, which was also sung by, I think, Dionne Warwick. This is an actress on a BBC drama, Cilla. I'm a big Cilla Black fan. Any of you guys Cilla Black fans? And this song made me get very emotional. I'm going to play it. We're going to get a bit emotional together. Anyone who had a heart. Ginger Alden had a heart. She chose to go against the Smiths, the Stanleys, and many other people because she wants the world to think that Elvis was optimistic and looking forward to the future, looking forward to his life ahead, the tour, maybe getting married, having a baby. Elvis was optimistic. He went with her to the funeral of her grandfather, helped her whole family go there in treacherous weather, stormy, snowy, icy weather. The picture is out there. Elvis stands there proudly with Ginger Alden holding his little cup. Elvis hadn't given up. So we hear the we hear Ricky Stanley in a disgusting interview with the most disgusting interviewer. Seriously, guys, that interview with Ricky Stanley was disgusting. It was like so upsetting. You've got Joan Rivers going out of her way to trash Elvis, with his stepbrother. She asked the most disgusting questions. Did Elvis wear a diaper? Joan Rivers, friends with Priscilla. Joan Rivers proudly boasts that she is friends with Priscilla Presley and her daughter goes to school with her daughter, Lisa. Joan Rivers on national TV is asking the most disgusting questions to Ricky Stanley. Lisa Marie is alive. You get it, guys? Joan Rivers is friends with Priscilla Presley. This is 1989. Her daughter grew up with Lisa Marie, Joan Rivers' daughter, and on national TV for money, for more views, to increase her ratings on her show, Joan Rivers is trashing Elvis with the help of Ricky Stanley in front of Lisa Marie, who could have been watching on national TV. Now, what's Lisa Marie thinking? I grew up with your daughter. Joan Rivers, I grew up with your daughter, and you are on national TV asking Ricky Stanley, did Elvis wear diapers? Asking the most disgusting questions you could ever ask someone. The most shameful questions you could ever ask someone. Joan Rivers, friends of Priscilla, whose daughter grew up with Lisa. This is why I'm titling this live stream, Anyone Who Had a Heart. She had no heart. Joan Rivers, you had no heart. This is why I'm titling this live stream, Anyone Who Had a Heart. Ginger Alden had a heart. She wants the world to see that Elvis was looking forward to a different future than has been portrayed. She can't believe the way that Elvis has been portrayed. She can't believe it. I'm going to play this song. I'm going to make you all come to tears. And then we're going to listen to Ginger Alden disagree with the world and try and show the world that Elvis was happy, was not suicidal. David Stanley said Elvis had planned his own death and was going to die. Self-inflicted death. Death by suicide. David Stanley, who grew up with Elvis, says that Elvis killed himself. David Stanley, the so-called Christian man, on national TV, slates Elvis again and again and again in the name of Christianity, in the name of helping addicts. He trashes Elvis, his stepbrother, who literally transformed his life. Him and his two brothers. Ricky and David are shameful. I'm disgusted the things that Ricky and David said. I'm also disgusted the things that Billy Smith said, Lamar Fike said, Marty Lacker said. Anyone who had a heart. How can you have a heart? How can you have a heart and trash Elvis in the way that you did? The Stanleys, the Smiths, and other people. Movies, documentaries, biographies. But then Ginger Alden comes along, who has a heart, and defends Elvis and says Elvis was looking forward to the future and was happy. I'm going to play the song, and then we're going to listen to Ginger Alden tell the world that they're wrong about Elvis, that Elvis has been portrayed incorrectly, unfairly. Now, this song's going to bring you to tears, guys. I relate to this. One second. I relate to this Anyone Who Had a Heart song, because we have been bullied and picked on and trashed. We have been attacked for defending Elvis. We defend Elvis because we love him. Ginger Alden defends Elvis because she loves Elvis. We, the Elvis fans, for the last 40 to 50 years have been defending Elvis because we love him. My researcher, I've got a few researchers. Amy Collett is obviously special to me. One second. We defend Elvis because we love him. We as Team Elvis, we the fans around the world, the Elvis fans around the world, we love Elvis. We defend him because we love him. Then we get attacked by fake Elvis fans. We get attacked by fake Elvis fans. We get called the most disgusting names. We get disgusting emails from people like Kyle. The most disgusting things are thrown at us. These very hateful people with no heart. Anyone who had a heart. The people that have a heart defend Elvis. The people that have a heart defend Elvis. The people that don't have a heart don't. David Stanley, Ricky Stanley, you don't have a heart. How can you have a heart when you say the most disgusting things about Elvis again and again and again? Joan Rivers, you don't have a heart. Anybody that trashes Elvis, you don't have a heart. Terry that joined us last night and gave us about 30 comments trashing Elvis, calling himself an Elvis fan, an Elvis expert because he has read loads of books. You don't have a heart. Because if you had a heart, you wouldn't have spent an hour trashing Elvis. Ginger Alden has a heart. She praises Elvis. She bigs him up. She bigs him up. Priscilla Presley doesn't have a heart. She's been trashing Elvis for 50 years, more or less. 40 to 50 years. Trashing and trashing and trashing. Money, 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 money. No heart. Michael Edwards allegedly abused Lisa Marie. No heart. Priscilla's boyfriend. Priscilla knew it was happening. The pair of them, no heart. The pair of them, no heart. Now, Lisa Marie poured her heart and soul into this, to this book, into those tapes, and Riley Q poured her heart and soul into finishing this book on behalf of her mother, Lisa, because Riley Q has a heart. The title of this live stream is Anyone Who Has a Heart. Anyone who had a heart. The people that love Elvis, that defend him, have a heart. Anybody that attacks us for defending Elvis, you don't have a heart. Shall I pick out some more books? Billy Stanley, who writes a beautiful book about Elvis, a beautiful book, You Have a Heart. Billy Stanley, who said sorry for the mistakes he made. You've redeemed yourself. You have a heart. And Joanne, thank you, Joanne, who have sent me Billy Stanley's book. Now, this book, from what I'm being told, we're going to read some of it and we're going to find out. Let's play the song, guys. Now, we're going to get emotional here. Now, one of my researchers, our Auntie Amy, has a heart. She tirelessly defends Elvis and has done for decades, for nothing, for free, for love, because she loves Elvis and Lisa and Riley and Finley and Harper and Gladys and Vernon and Benjamin. Auntie Amy, our researcher, she has a heart. We have another researcher who I won't name. She has a heart. She tirelessly emails me almost every day, long, detailed information how to defend Elvis and his bloodline. She exposes the fake Elvis people, the Smiths, the Stanleys, the Memphis Mafia, Priscilla Presley. She exposes them. She gives me graphic details on the mistakes they've made trashing Elvis and Lisa. My secret researcher, and I reached out to her, and she said something. I don't think she realized it, but let me just find it. She said something that was lovely. I asked her a very simple question. How do you feel about me exposing Kyle, the hater with the fake Elvis channel? How do you feel about it? And she says, I hope she's watching. One second, guys. She says, I agree. Kyle deserves to be exposed for all the horrible comments he's had directed towards me and Team Elvis. This is more proof that he is the one who can't leave you alone and is constantly stirring up trouble. It's not you, but it's him. And he had everyone else. But it's him and he. Everyone else knows it. He's a fraud. I want to read it again. I ask her, how do you feel about me exposing Kyle with this disgusting email he sent me that said the most vile things to me you could ever say? This is in the name of Elvis. Remember what we do here. We just defend Elvis and Lisa. That's what we do. My researcher says, more proof that he is the one who can't leave you alone and is constantly stirring up trouble. It's not you, but him and he and everybody else knows it. He is a fraud. It's him and he and everybody else knows it. He's a fraud. Kyle, you exposed yourself in that email. Everyone now knows what you're like. The most disgusting things came out of your mouth, Kyle. And then our researcher says, it's pretty ironic considering how he cries all the time about being bullied and harassment. And there he is doing exactly what he cries and bitches about. What a joke, a huge hypocrite. I repeat, you don't have a heart, Kyle. You do not have a heart. You can't hate like that and even go against Elvis. You can't post disgusting things like the D. Stanley video on your channel that literally says the most horrific, disgusting things about Elvis with having a heart. You don't have a heart. You can't send an email as disgusting as that email you sent to me, and I've proved it was you, having a heart. You don't have a heart. You're a heartless person. Pretty ironic considering how he cries all the time about being bullied and harassment. And you send me that disgusting email aimed at Team Elvis. That email isn't just aimed at me, guys. That email is aimed at Team Elvis as well. We defend Elvis. We would never post trash about Elvis. We wouldn't support Priscilla. We wouldn't post regular videos supporting Priscilla. one of the people that has trashed Elvis the most in history. Priscilla has carried a lie that she is the victim and that she has been wronged and mistreated by Elvis for 50 years. And unfortunately, millions believe her. Millions are caught up in this spell that Priscilla has wove, conning the world that she was the poor victim and she's the only reason Elvis is remembered and that she saved Graceland. It's all a big lie. That Elvis was the unfaithful one, it's all a big lie. She was unfaithful. Many of the people around the world don't know how disgusting Priscilla treated Elvis and then went on to treat her own daughter. Many people around the world don't know that Priscilla's own boyfriend allegedly molested her daughter and Priscilla knew about it, allegedly, for entertainment purposes only. Pretty ironic, considering how he cries all the time about the bullying and harassment, and there he is doing exactly what he cries and bitches about. What a joke, a huge hypocrite. You don't have a heart. Kyle, we know your game now. You've been exposed, you're a fraud. You're a fake Elvis fan with a fake channel. I'm going to play this song, and then we're going to jump over to Ginger Alden. We're going to jump over to Ginger Alden and watch Ginger Alden disagree with the world and show the world that Elvis was happy, was looking forward to his life ahead of him. Looking forward to it. Elvis died from a heart attack. A heart attack. Yes, he took many prescription medications. Maybe he abused them. Maybe he overtook them. Maybe they didn't mix well together. There are many circumstances of that night, his trip to the dentist, and many other factors. The Stanleys feeding him very strong drugs. We don't know what really went on around Elvis. We don't really know what went on around Elvis the night he died. There are many worrying circumstances. I'm going to play this song. I play this song in honor of Elvis defenders who have a heart. Elvis defenders, we have a heart. Elvis defenders around the world. Anyone watching here now, anyone that watches this in the future, we defend Elvis with pride because we have a heart. The people that go against us, the people that trash Elvis, including his own family, stepbrothers, and many other people. Movies, biographies, documentaries, books, tabloids, magazines, interviews. There are so many people that are trashing Elvis and Lisa Marie and the legacy for money, They don't have a heart. That interview that we witnessed today, that we reviewed together as fans, was disgusting. Joan Rivers, Ricky Stanley, you don't have a heart. Love it, guys. Love it. I play that for the Elvis fans, the genuine Elvis fans. I play that for the people that love Elvis, the people that truly love Elvis. Not people that will go out of their way and bend over backwards to do anything they can to prove that Elvis was a drug addict, that Elvis was the cause of his own death, that Elvis ruined his own life. Genuine fans won't do that. Genuine fans won't say that Elvis doesn't need defending. We have a heart. We have a heart. We, the Elvis fans, Team Elvis, the Elvis fans around the world, we have a heart. We care. We care. We can watch a disgusting video of Ricky Stanley, of David Stanley, of the Smiths, of the Memphis Mafia, of Marty Lacker, Lamar Fike. Red West, Sunny West. We're not stupid. You can't have a heart and say the things that you said. How can you have a heart and say the most disgusting things about a man who was truly beautiful to you? A man that gave you pure love. Elvis gave these people pure love. All of them. The names I've just mentioned. Pure love. And they thank him by trashing him for decades for money. Again and again and again. They trash him for decades for money. You get the fake Elvis fans insulting us. Sending us disgusting emails. But they call themselves fans. Let's find Ginger Alden. Today, after a lot of thought. After a lot of thought today, and our researcher's email that she sent me only half an hour ago, hit a chord because it made me think, this isn't fair. The way that we are being treated at defending Elvis, for defending Elvis, it just isn't fair. It isn't fair. How we're being treated is wrong. And then I started thinking about Ginger Alden. Now, Ginger Alden made a few little mistakes when she was very young, 20, 21, 22 years old. She had the press hounding her to do things for money, interviews, even a movie. But very quickly she wised up and she went and she disappeared. Ginger Alden disappeared. Nearly 40 years later, she brings this book out and defends Elvis. Ginger Alden brings this book out and defends Elvis. The hate that Ginger Alden has had for defending Elvis from family of Elvis. Now you listen to this interview. What is Ginger Alden doing wrong? Why does she get so much hate? She's done nothing wrong. Why does she get hate for this? She is one of the few people that stands up and defends Elvis, like Susanna Lee. Susanna Lee, Elvis's co-star. She's passed in 2017, but fortunately we've spoken to her daughter, Natalia Lee. Susanna Lee defended Elvis on national TV in front of Dave Stanley, who was trashing his own stepbrother. She's a hero. Ginger Alden is a hero. Listen to her words.
Wrote down all of my memories shortly after Elvis passed away. It was just my way of holding on. You know, I wanted to hold on and not forget. And time went on. I went forward with my life. I worked. I got married, had my son. And in the course of all this, a lot of untruths were being said regarding mine and Elvis's relationship, a lot of exaggerations. And
what were some of the untruths?
Well, just that Elvis was unhappy, or we argued a lot, things like that, which was not true. And so I wanted to set the record straight. And
she wants to set the record straight. What isn't true? Oh, that Elvis wasn't happy. She's telling us he was happy, yet he was sick. You could see he was sick. He was over-medicated. You could see he was over-medicated. Things had got too much. His face was puffy. His tummy was puffy. It was very clear Elvis was not well. He was very sick and over-medicated. Doesn't make him a junkie. It doesn't mean he was miserable. It doesn't mean he couldn't enjoy life. It doesn't mean he couldn't have been optimistic for the future. It doesn't mean it stopped him from taking Ginger and her family to her grandfather's funeral and going on the roller coaster rides, hiring out the fair. Elvis spent the day at the fair. He hired the fair, or the night, taking many people. Elvis could have fun. The night before he died, he was singing on the piano. He was playing racquetball. That isn't a man that is about to commit suicide, as David Stanley said he was. David Stanley said he had given up, he had had enough, he wanted out. So did Ricky. They both say similar things, don't they? David Stanley is the one that says about the suicide, but Ricky still says Elvis had given up. This lady comes along, Ginger Alden, who exposes some of the Memphis Mafia, some of the goings-on around Elvis in the last months of his life, even things with the Smiths. Ginger Alden tries to tell Elvis, these people around you are not good for you. Ginger Alden is worried that stuff went on, alleged, for entertainment purposes only, to Elvis to do with his prescription medication. They were trying to control him using his tablets, alleged, so they could party and get drunk and have heroin, have cocaine, have girls, whilst Elvis was sick in bed. They would keep Elvis asleep so they could get on with their lives. This is just alleged things that are being said to me. Ginger Alden was in the middle of all that and was trying to tell Elvis. She was trying to warn Elvis. So when Ginger Alden gets this opportunity to expose the truth, then she gets hated. She gets a backlash of hate, just like we are getting. We are getting a backlash of hate.
And I waited until my son, who just turned 20 this past August 20th, went off to college. And I sat down, and it took me about 2 years, and I put together all of my memoirs. And finally, I have my book.
There's a perception that has lingered for many years that when, just before Elvis died, that he was unhappy, that he was this big guy who was just not the old Elvis that we all knew, that he had maybe even lost his will to live.
Right up until the day.
That's the public perception. This fat man that had lost the will to live, that was a junkie that just wanted to get stoned. She straight away disagrees. She straight away disagrees. She was there. She was there. She knows what Elvis was like. She lived the last months with Elvis. She knows.
His will to live.
Right up until the day he died. I mean, there are just things that I've seen in books, and I said this wasn't what I witnessed. This wasn't the person I loved. This wasn't how he was those last, 9 months, and I was with him 98% of the time. He had asked me to move into Graceland, but I never did, and he said, I respect you for that. I just didn't at the time. It wasn't my way. And but I was up there pretty much every day. And I just think the portrayal, the image of him, has been really unfair. And Elvis was not someone sitting up and gorging on. He could be compulsive sometimes when eating certain foods, but this image, I never once saw him eat the famous fried peanut butter and banana sandwiches. I never once saw that.
So I guess your biggest concern has been that a lot of what has happened over the past 40 years is that he's been defined by those final months of his life. Mm-hmm. And you're saying that what people perceived was his life really was not the reality.
He was never bored. He didn't act down. We laughed. We watched television. He played the organ in his room. Sometimes we went out. We rode three-wheels. He had these great fun three-wheelers. We went motorcycle riding.
You still miss him?
Oh, yeah. I mean, of course. I miss that we didn't get to see where he was going to go and hear more of his music, and he had a lot left to do.
Now that's how you defend Elvis. You go against the norm. You go against what is said. That's how you defend Elvis. I just want to see if I can get Susanna Lee, her interview up. I just wonder if it's in my history. Guys, the one thing I'm starting to learn now is that there are many non-genuine Elvis fans out there that are hell-bent on trashing Elvis. Trashing Elvis. And they will say whatever they can. They will even call themselves Christians or Elvis fans. In the name of Elvis, they will still trash him again and again and again. I'm just trying to find the interview, guys. Here's Susanna Lee here.
And your career's about how that his manager Tom Parker didn't want you to be in the movie with him.
Well, yes and no. Well, yes, that's true. But also, Charlton Heston at the time was the head of the Screen Actors Guild, and just a few months before that, he'd been turned down to play Gordon of Khartoum in England. So he had photographs most of them.
Now you're from Belgrave, England, right?
I'm from Belgravia. Yes.
Is that where you live now?
No, I live in Winter Garden, which is in Florida.
Oh, so you don't live far from here.
No, I don't. I'm local.
I gotta ask you, how was it working with Elvis?
Oh, wow. I was a big Elvis fan, still am. And Elvis and I were both under contract to Hal Wallace. So we were both contract stars. So it was fabulous because Elvis was such a lovely guy. Everything you ever heard about Elvis is true. I mean, the nice things anyway.
Well, I gotta...
So you hear that? Everything you ever heard about Elvis.
After he died. Beautiful. Elvis Presley.
Everything you ever heard about Elvis was true. The nice things. A true fan, a true defender.
We raced go-karts, we snowmobiled. Elvis was just a big kid. He liked to have a lot of fun, you know, and he had the money to do it.
Right.
And as a child growing up, I was, you know, fortunate enough to be a part of that.
Yeah. When did you first realize, how old were you when you realized he was, in fact, Elvis Presley, the star?
So I just want, look, I know that there's, Annie has started saying things about Ginger. I want you to understand something. No matter what anyone says about Ginger, she defends Elvis. She defends Elvis. She wins my vote. Even Billy Stanley, he now defends Elvis. He wins my vote. The people that get my vote, get Team Elvis's vote, get the Elvis fans' vote, is the people that defend Elvis. So yeah, you'll find some mistakes that Ginger made. You'll try and pick apart whether or not they were going to get married and bring up the mum having the lawsuit. But Ginger defends Elvis. You may not like her, but she defends Elvis. So to anybody that doesn't like Ginger, you're disliking an Elvis defender. She proudly defends.
I realized it when I was about 6 or 7, but it really hit home when I was 15 in Las Vegas. As she was saying, anybody who was, or everybody who was anybody was at the first concert. And fortunately enough, I was there as a family member. Elvis came out in '69 at the International Hilton Hotel, now the Hilton Hotel. Elvis could talk you into anything, right?
Absolutely. He's quite extraordinary.
Yeah.
I mean,
Careful.
Oh, no. I bet I was...
Now, together, guys, we're going to enjoy watching Susanna Lee defend Elvis.
Absolutely quite
Stand up to Dave Stanley, because she has a heart.
shocked that out of all the leading men I'd ever starred opposite, or well, you didn't start with Elvis. I mean, you co-starred with Elvis. Elvis was the star, of course. But I mean, he never actually tried to pull me, chat me up. One day I said to him,
"What's the matter with me?"
Yeah, I mean, you know, don't you fancy? Everybody. So he said, "Listen, baby. I mean," I said, "I know you're being faithful to Priscilla and all that sort of thing." He said, "Oh no, baby. I mean, I respect you and Priscilla far too much for anything like that." I went, "Oh." I have to think about that one. I had to go away and think about that. I was really serious. And I read in the paper the other day that, in fact, apparently you only slept with Priscilla once. So, I mean, I was pretty cool.
But you were there throughout the good times and the bad. For a young man, as part of the entourage, because there were drugs.
It got difficult.
Elvis was one of the least drug takers. I mean, in the 60s when I was there, if you don't mind me butting in, I mean, my goodness, I mean, Elvis really, I mean, no way.
Well, anyway, 1970.
What about in the 70s?
In 1972, Elvis was very hot. His concerts were unbelievable throughout the States.
Yeah.
But in 1974 and 75, there was a slow decline physically. And
Here we go, guys. The reason I'm playing this clip of one of the people that betrayed Elvis, there was many, David is one of them, is to show what a true Elvis fan is. Ginger Alden is a true Elvis fan. Even Billy Stanley is a true Elvis fan. David Stanley is a betrayer. He betrayed Elvis. He trashed Elvis in public many times, again and again and again, for money.
Because of his grueling schedule on tour, he got involved in medication prescribed by physicians. And he would take 1 or 2 to sleep, 1 or 2 to wake up, which was fine with a grueling schedule like Presley had. But because of a physician who felt that there was money to be made, instead of pulling back, he gave him more and more and more use.
So he's trying to blame Dr. Nick. No mention of the fact that, how about Elvis was just sick and couldn't sleep? How about that? He had inherited serious medical problems. Even his mum, his dad, his grandparents had serious medical problems. Elvis inherited them genetically. He was a sick man, and as he got older, he got sicker and sicker. So he turned to his doctors for prescribed medication, for prescription medication. How about that? Instead of just talking about him like he was a junkie and blaming Dr. Nick.
Went to abuse, and again, the physician didn't take the care or the time to say, Elvis, you need to back off, you need to slow down. Instead, more and more and more. And it's been written, it's no big surprise that Elvis got involved in heavy drugs, some 5,000 pills prescribed 6 months before he died. Now, no one needs that type of medication, but here was a doctor who saw a gold mine and took advantage of it, and Elvis, who had become somewhat addicted, justified the fact that he was taking drugs by his name being on the bottle. He would catch me at that time. I was heavily involved in drugs. David, if you do that, you're off this hill. David, if I catch you ever do that again, I'm going to fire you. You'll never come around again. But
Elvis was against drugs. Against drugs.
Yet he could take it because justification was this
was he was sick. Justification was he was sick.
Has been prescribed to me. Elvis was a victim of circumstance, and he had a little boy trust in doctors that ultimately took his life.
But
here goes Susanna Lee, do it for Elvis Presley.
He also believed that he had a very bad illness, because he told me he had a very bad illness, and that was covered by drugs. And maybe the doctors told him he had a very bad illness. I mean, I remember 10 years ago when he died, I spent 3 hours on all networks all over the thing, and I was convinced, mainly because he was convinced, that he had cancer of the colon.
That is true. That is true. Elvis was in a tremendous amount of pain at the end.
She defends Elvis. She knocks him off his pedestal and makes him defend Elvis. Ridiculous. So predictable. Susanna Lee deserves a medal for exposing Elvis.
Of his life. And his schedule, you just can't imagine. You know, like most rock and rollers go out and do a show, off a week, off 2 days, off at least a day. Elvis was out every single night. 21-day tours, off a week, another 21-day tour.
So he'll go on to praise Elvis because Susanna Lee put him in his place. The point of this video, guys, today, the point of this live stream is we defend with pride. We see these people coming up against us, trying to trash us, and say that defending Elvis is wrong, is not needed. We see the fake trolley channels, the fake Elvis fans. Then we have people like Susanna Lee and Ginger Alden who want to defend Elvis. They want to defend Elvis. Even Billy Stanley, he's made mistakes, but he does want to defend Elvis. He's made mistakes, but he's made amends. You've got Billy Smith, who has trashed Elvis again and again, never apologized. Billy Smith has never apologized for trashing Elvis. Nor has Lamar Fike, nor has Marty Lacker, nor has Red West and Sonny West. I think Sonny West might have showed a little bit of regret. All of them, I believe every one of them regretted it in the end. And the reason they regretted it is because Elvis was such a lovely man with a good heart that did so much good for them that deep down they were gutted they ever did it. Yeah, Frederick, I understand what you're saying. Elvis was sick. I don't care what anyone says. He had the worst case of insomnia. He was extremely sick. He had the worst problems with his colon, maybe even had liver issues. Elvis was sick. He couldn't sleep. One of the most overworked men in history. He needed help. He never got the right help, but he needed it. There was nothing fake about Elvis. Elvis was no street druggie. Elvis was no street druggie. He was an overworked man with pressures that we can't even believe. We will never understand the pressures that Elvis was under, being Elvis Presley. That was Elvis's undoing. Being born sick, a man who couldn't sleep, becoming Elvis Presley. It was just all too much for Elvis. I ain't going to call Elvis any disgusting names just to please the bullshit propaganda that goes around the world, the fake news about Elvis that goes around the world, that wants Elvis to be portrayed in a disgusting way. I choose to defend Elvis with pride, with Team Elvis, with Elvis fans. I encourage people that want to defend Elvis to join us, to laugh at the people that attack us and call us names. These heartless people, these people that have no heart. We defend with pride. I think Elvis would love that we defend him. He would want us to forgive. I always say that. He would love us defending him. And I think Lisa Marie would love us. And 771, whether it's a rumor or not, Elvis was sick. Elvis was sick. No one is going to tell me any different. Come on then. All right, dogs are barking. Well said, Deborah. We're here to defend Elvis. We're not here to be experts. Annie, can I just say this to you? We're not here to be experts on Elvis. Look at all the books I've got. Annie, let me just, I'm trying to give you an example. We have hundreds of books. I have hundreds of books. Books. I could make this pile go to the ceiling. We have hundreds of books. We can all be very knowledgeable about Elvis. We can all spout out just how knowledgeable we are. Doesn't make us true Elvis fans. Doesn't make us true Elvis fans. A true Elvis fan defends Elvis. A true Elvis fan defends Elvis. They don't look for reasons to go, oh, actually, maybe you were right. Oh, actually, this happened to us yesterday, didn't it? An Elvis fan joined us and spent the whole live stream trying to show how knowledgeable they were and argue with us and disagree with us. How does that defend Elvis? We are called defending Elvis. We're not here to pick apart the facts. We're not an encyclopedia of Elvis. We are here to defend Elvis because his image and reputation has been ruined by fake Elvis news. That's why we're here. We're not here to say, oh, I know more than you. Okay? Anyway, you get my point, guys. We're defending Elvis. That's what we are. We are defending Elvis. Anybody wants to be on our channel, we come together 2, 3, 4 times a day to defend Elvis, not to show off who has the most knowledge about Elvis. None of us are Elvis experts. None of us. Even if you've read 50 books, you're not an Elvis expert. Okay, guys, before I go, do you want to say something before I go? All right, mate.
you.